Hello, hello. Is it working? Hello. Yes, it is. Whoops. Yes, it is. There we go. Right. I'll get everything set up. There we go. My phones have told me that I'm streaming. Let's get the right view so I can see what I'm doing, see what I'm talking about. There we go. It's 18 degrees Celsius and it's, yes, I know, thank you, phone. I know I'm streaming. Thank you for telling me. Right. It's 80 degrees Celsius and it's mostly sunny where I am in the UK. It's 7 minutes past 8. I'm 7 minutes late. I'm not going to do the rest of it in rhyme, don't worry. Okay, so I'm going to have a go at talking about my game that I made for RNDGAME JAM. Before I do that, I'm going to play my game so that I can actually collect my thoughts about what I'm going to say for the next hour or so. Because otherwise I might just end up talking a load of nonsense, because I've never done this before. So let's get it loaded. Headphones are probably a good idea at the moment, aren't they? So I don't know if I'll keep the headphones on. So let's play the game. Frozen Helm. This is like an intro. That's me. That's the game jam. That's the title screen. There we go. I'm off to a flying start. Just say what you see. It's like catchphrase. I'll let the title screen play because the music's really cool on it. And it also lets me adjust the light. It lets me have a scratch. It lets me have a drink. Okay then, so this game. This is the title screen. A recurring theme in this game is there are lots and lots of particle effects. Most of this game is held together by particle effects. At first, when I started my programming journey, I was like, particle effects, so overused. You know, game developers they just rest on particle effects and screen shake. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make proper games. And now look at this. I'm just putting particle effects in everything. Right. So let's have a playthrough of the game, shall we, before we start talking about it. It's called Frozen Helm. That's the Frozen Helm in the centre there. This is version 1, the Jam version. I haven't updated the game at all yet. That'll probably come. Unusually, for one of my games, there hasn't been any bugs. There is apparently, in the wild, one game-stopping bug, but I've not been able to reproduce it, but it's possibly still there. Anyway, let's get cracking. So, there's 2 modes of play. Story mode and speedrun mode. I've obviously played this game before, because it's my game. So I've already unlocked speedrun mode. If you're starting the game from fresh, speedrun mode will be not there. It's greyed out, I think, until you've completed story mode. It doesn't take long, it's not a long game. This is basically ripping off speedrun mode in Axiom Verge, one of my favourite games. And probably a massive influence on this game. Yeah, in speedrun mode, there's no cutscenes, no talking, there's a timer. I don't think the timer's in story mode. I don't think there's any other major differences. Really, there should be a lot more that speedrun mode does, but it doesn't. So there you go. Right, let's have a look through story mode then. Wake up, Tulok, my son. So here we are, having a nap next to our roaring campfire, keeping our feet warm. It's night time and it's snowing. But father, is that you? You must journey into the temple of the ancestors. He's not messing about, this father, you know, just bang, he just appears there. It's like, right, you need to go in that temple, my son. Their spirits cry out in pain, imprisoned in gold urns. So look, it's telling you what you have to do. You must free them. That's what you've got to do. You've got to free the spirits from the gold urns. You must free me. But father, I am not strong like you. You wield the power of ice. You see, it's telling you what you've got. You've got ice powers, and your heart is brave. That is all the strength you need. I will try my best. You see, he's a plucky little hero, our Tulok. Don't know how you pronounce this name. Tulok? I'll get into that. I know you will. In fact, no, let's get into it now. The names are Inuit names. I was trying to pick some kind of interesting names for my characters. At first, I was going to do the old Lion King trick and look at Swahili names, because I think Simba in Swahili means lion, I think. So the Lion King is just called Lion. That's why he's the king. So it's a very good name. Anyway, Jasiri is the Swahili name for brave, but that doesn't really fit with the snowy theme that I'm going for, so we went for Inuit names. And then turns out Inuit names sound really cool, so there we go. Cultural appropriation. Father, I never got the chance to... Father? And we have a fade effect. First time I've done a fade effect. So, I did my usual trick of recycling lots of music. The title screen music, I think it's the same music as you get in the intro. I didn't make different music. And this is basically the same music as well. It's all kind of the same. Minimise the amount of work I have to do. And also, it links things together thematically. Hey, if Andrew Lloyd Webber can make an entire musical out of 3 riffs, why can't I make a game using 2 riffs that I rip off? Right, tutorial. Story mode has a tutorial as well. That's not in speedrun mode. And our dad here is telling us the controls. So press down or down to break open urns and pots or pick up items. And so something I've learned is that the people who play my games who are also stupid like to post comments how they found the controls really confusing, even though I usually put the controls, in fact I always put the controls in the description. Stupid people love telling you how they are stupid, and so what I do now, I put tutorials in. To be fair to the stupid people, well, to be fair, it does help to explain things in a game, doesn't it? If you can like design a game where it all happens seamlessly and the player just intuitively knows what to do, that's fantastic. But if you're making it in 2 weeks for a game jam, you just put tutorial in. So press down to break open urns and pots or pick up items. Yeah, that's easy to do. Now, I experimented with 2 ways of doing this. I was going to have it where you'd actually have to press down to clear this screen. But what I found was it was just confusing. And also, a lot of the tips it gives you don't associate with a button press, so got rid of that. Yeah, so you press down to smash things open. And when you smash things, oh look, more particle effects. Most of this game is held together by particle effects. We have 2 particle effects there. We've got some dust, or pixely dust, I think. I can't remember what I called that. We'll go into that. And also with some fragments. So, here we go. The souls of my ancestors are within these gems. They will lend me their power. Tulok, our character, when he talks in the tutorial, he's kind of telling you things more in the game. Your dad, he's not bothered about breaking the 4th wall. He just tells you, no, you need to press X. So there we go. That's why there's different colours. So yeah, these gems, what they do, they increase our maximum health, and when we pick it up, our maximum magic power as well. And there's an urn with a massive flashing circle around it, pulsating to show people that that's important, because you could miss it. Yeah, you see, Tulok's telling us this, kind of in the game world. He's not breaking the fourth wall. An ancestral urn. How did it become corrupted? Why did I put that on 3 lines? I don't know. I experimented a lot with the size of the text box. Looks like I didn't change that bit. It looks fine. Anyway, how did it become corrupted? So smash that. Hey, more particle effects. It's for emphasis. It may have been for emphasis, but it looks like I just forgot to change the lines. Press X to jump, you moron. There we go, look. You press X to jump. This ice is too thick. I'll need the Frozen Helm to break through. So yeah, this ice is to stop the player from exploring the rest of the map until they've picked up the Frozen Helm. Because the whole point of this game is that when you haven't got the Frozen Helm, you run around a little bit. Well, you're not slow, are you? But you're a bit slower. You can't jump as high, and you only have one spell, the Ice Blast spell. The spell then. So what this spell does is it creates loads of ice, particle effects, and it freezes enemies. And I'll probably not be able to do it from here. What? Let's see. Oh. No. We'll be able to freeze enemies anyway. Now, I'm not sure if I got the cooldown right. If you just hammer the button. That wasn't perfect, but it's fine. Anyway, let's go then. So, we have to go and get the helm. It's a Frozen Helm. I hope I am worthy of its power. The power of the helm lets you jump higher, run faster, and cast the Ice Spear spell. And the music kicks in. This trick I learned doing Brave Pixel. Having like a short loop of the main theme at the beginning before things have started, and then kicking into the main theme. So it makes it sound like you've done more music than you have. Thank you, the music is so good because it's ripped off of Amon Amarth. I was a bit worried, to be honest, that for a while it didn't have that little melodic bit. It just had Amon Amarth, and I thought, I cannot do this. That'd be a bit too much. It sounds like... I'm glad you think it does that. It doesn't really. It's just the main piece of music is quite long, and it's longer, much longer than if you just run around and don't pick up another helm. It will just stop before it kicks in. See now, it just loops and has a different drum beat. Lazy. Right, so we've got the helm. I made a little thing there to try and clue the player into the fact that something's going to happen there, i.e. the helmet's going to come back. So yeah, if you pick up a gem, you see that your magic and health bars slightly increase. You heard the music drop out there. Oh look, it's back. More particle effects to show what's going on. Right. Another, and you can see when we jump, we have a nice ice trail, more particle effects, and we can jump higher. But when we jump, our magic bar decreases slightly. You can also hold down the spell button to cast icicles. And look, Dad's telling us something. The Frozen Helm will melt as you use it. Drink blue ice potions to replenish your power. So now it just loops back around, the music does. So yeah, once you've got the helm, you can bash through the ice, having all kinds of slowdown. Tap. Oh, so let's see, is this clear? Tap Z to cast Frost Blast to freeze enemies. Okay, Dad. And and oops. Yeah, you don't want to block fireballs with your face. I don't think it actually tells you how to cast the Ice Spear spell. It kind of did, didn't it? Drink red potions of health to heal your wounds. So what that happens, that message comes when our health drops below 50%, I think. There we go. So yeah, health potions. Now, this subtle thing is in the game. I'm not sure how clear it is. That went through him then. There we go. Right, you can see my magic is very low, and I've also got a little bit of damage to my health. Oh, and I can't find a bloody... Oh, I need an urn. There we go. This one was a difficult one to put in. These grey, the sort of pale grey platforms, light grey platforms, you can jump down on those, and you can jump up through them as well. I'm not sure what you call those platforms in platform games, but that's what they are. Most of the platforms in the game block your movement. This one's a bit awkward when it comes up. I think it's a bit confusing why it's there. But yeah, you can press down and jump to do that. Right. Oh, screwed it up. Right, so what I'm going to do, pick up the... There we go. Spending a bit of magic. Now, the way these urns work, which is an interesting thing. Because my health is low and my magic is low, there's a chance that those will give me potions now, not just soul gems. So there we go, we got a nice potion that time. Smash another one. Sometimes you still get soul gems. It kind of... I was ripping off the magic crates from Half-Life 2 that give you what you need. Like Batista, they give you what they want. Kind of. So the idea of that was that the soul gems are a way to kind of show your skill at the game. The more soul gems you get, the less potions you have probably needed to get. So that's the idea of that. The trouble was, I wanted to also just have potions hanging around, so there's a good chance people won't even realise that's what that's doing. But it will kind of help the player to kind of get through the game. I wanted to make the game nice and easy. Here's something that I probably didn't know was in the game either. I'm running around a bit, let's cast some spells, let's do a bit of jumping, and then let's have a look. Oh look, he's out of puff. He catches his breath and then he stops. Yeah. To start with, that was going all the time, but it made him look like he was just constantly doing this, so I took that out, kind of. That idle animation could probably go, can't it? So yeah, interesting things around here. On the wall there, we've got, it's meant to be text, like, I don't know, sacred writings in the temple. We've also got a lovely banner of the Frozen Helm. Also, I tried to clue the player in when there's a helm nearby by making it a little bit icy. So there's icicles and things near the helm to kind of help players find them. Although you can see up there above me, there's also ice sometimes just where there's ice. I had to take out a Sonic the Hedgehog foot tapping animation from mine because there was no amount that was too little. Yeah. Right, let's try and get through this game. Anything interesting about this area? Not really. I was pleased with myself when I made these chains. I thought they looked really cool. I tried to avoid having any floating platforms in the game. I mean, to be honest, it's fair for the player to assume there's like a wall behind, you know, in the background. Obviously couldn't do that with the colours and things I was using, but still, there isn't any floating platforms, I don't think. Everything should kind of be attached to something else. I just think it makes levels look a lot cooler. Plus, it kind of gives the players some kind of hints as to what's around them. If you can, oh, there's chains hanging down, there might be something above that kind of thing. I'm alright for potions actually. Yeah, all these ice blocks, I was putting those there to try and make it so that if the player doesn't have the helm, you can kind of get some places but not others. I'm not sure how successful I was at that. Thinking about the player experience, yeah. That area there is meant to drain your jumping power. To start with, jumping took much more power out of your helm, but I found that made it too hard, so I made that easier. Most of my game development is just making my own game easier. How did you approach laying out the map? I'll get into that in more depth. What I did first, the room in the top left, that was the basic, that was the first room I made when I first started the game, just to kind of test things. And I kind of did the map in one. After that initial room was okay, I did a couple more rooms just to test things. Once I was happy with all that, I think I did the map in like one session. Or, you know, a basic version. It got tweaked a lot. In terms of, you mean like in terms of layout? Yeah, you said how do you approach laying out the map? Could you expand on that question to give me a little help? Where do I need to go now? I'm going to go over here. Yeah, okay. So you can see now, health is okay, magic is low, so let's see what I get out of the urn. Yeah, magic. Oh look, oh, there's secrets! I just wondered what sort of shape you wanted out of the level. Alright, okay. This area here, this is meant to be the centre, well, this is both the figurative and literal centre of the map. So the idea would be that you'd kind of come back to this area a lot. I like having dead ends in levels. So there are quite a lot of dead ends. But yeah, this area here is meant to be one area that you do come back to time and time again. I'm going to run out of Frozen Helm power. Well, I'll get to use the... oh, if I'm very clever. Oh, look at that. There we go. Let's jump down here. Oh, hey. Yeah, so this area up here, this was the first part to be done. This is the first room here. But I thought it would be a good Metroidvania, Castlevania thing. I thought it'd be a cool thing to do, to have the player start in the bottom right instead of the top left. It's a tradition anyway in Castlevania games, isn't it, to have the player go to the left. This is a nice little detail up here. I wanted to put more of this kind of thing in, but I ran out of tokens. Maybe if I can optimise the code, I'll put more of that in. Let's just kill this guy first. So yeah, the Helm of Nukilik, Father's Helm. He was a great warrior. So yeah, this is your dad's urn here, so there we go. Your father is now at rest. I haven't really decided if the skeletons are the actual animated bodies of the ancestors. I don't think they are. I'm not sure what they are, to be honest. I haven't thought that far ahead. I like particle effects that stay, so the snow kind of stays on screen for a while. But I had lots of problems of slowdown in this game, so it does get removed quite quickly. Which way do I do to go now? Yeah, through here. Right, so I'll pick up this. And you see this is an area now where you can get down there without the helm. One problem I had was I don't have made it very many terrain types. I could have probably drawn more, but for whatever reason I didn't. So I do feel like this area can be mixed up with the other rock area. I don't know if that's a problem or not. I did end up with quite a lot of spare space in the oh, I've gone the wrong way. I did end up with quite a lot of space on the sprite sheet, so one of the last things I did was basically fill out the rest of the sprite sheet to make unique sprites. Well, actually, the thing below that orange sprite, that's not actually a... No, I'm talking rubbish. That was in from the beginning. I just didn't have a use for it. So at the end of the game, rather, or once I was very near the limit, I just went through putting in the other spares. So like that helmet on the right, that's the original design for the helmet before I changed it to the more Viking looking one. Yeah, sometimes snow can fall on ice blocks that then disappear and you end up with snow in the mid-air. Not going to lose sleep over that. Yeah, here I wanted to have it say something there as well, but I haven't. For whatever reason, probably ran out of tokens. Oops, I did that wrong. You should pick up potions first before you smash open urns. That way, you get more gems. So this area up here, this is kind of more like ruined columns. I thought it looked kind of cool. You used to be able to jump on those, but it got in the way. It messed up. Icicles would get stuck on them. So you don't need to climb on that. It's absolutely no point in the game where you need to do that. Some of this. Way. Here's another secret. Whee! I think I made that one far too subtle. Those blocks there are flipped. I mean, yeah, all the secret blocks are generally flipped, but you can't tell. I mean, I clued the player into that one there by having the fact that, well, how are you going to get there? Did you manage to find any of the secrets, by the way? There's another one over on the left that I haven't showed you yet. Nope. Oh well. They're just there, they're not a big deal. So I've got 4 urns left to pick up. So here's another secret. That one's... You can see there's like bricks missing in the wall there. This area, I was going to have this be a more important area. It's a bit pointless really, this bit. I didn't really mind having kind of pointless areas in, if you like. Kind of dead ends and things. Because it is meant to be like an exploration game, so I think that's fine. Right, I think I've missed 2 over here. Get that going. Good to vary the density of stuff on the screen. Do you mean like having dead ends and things? Oh, there we go, there's the last one. That's the last one. The sprites, are now at rest. I should return to the entrance. I forgot to put in... I was going to have like some kind of reverse circle thing that would pull the player or draw the player back to the entrance, because you could easily miss that. I don't know. No one's commented on that being a problem, so I suppose we'll find out when I put this on Newgrounds. Things like empty rooms rather than jamming pots everywhere. Yeah, I like levels when they feel uneven. It's what I like about classic Doom levels. There isn't like a symmetry to them or anything. In fact, symmetrical Doom levels are usually terrible. I had an idea here, these little bits here. Again, these were just using up sprites that had no function. Originally I was going to have a lot more enemies, and I was going to have like a kind of part of the temple where the skeletons had like broken in. The lava skeletons or something. But in the end I just put them down here just to use them. Same as these things here, these are meant to be kind of, I don't know, graves or something. That uses the skull, part of the skull sprite there. I recycled that. So, yeah, let's go to the exit then. And then, there we go. I'm glad. I was going to make it so you have to press down on the door. I did it lazily and just made it so that you run through and it just does a collision check. I'm glad I did that. It's way better than pressing down. You win! You have restored the balance of the temple. You are the guardian of the ancestors and champion of the Frozen Helm. It took you 23 minutes to break all the urns. You found 24 soul jewels. Right then. What I'm going to do now is do a speed run, and then I'll open up the cart and talk about other stuff. But yeah, let's have a speed run first because it's fun. There we go. Lovely slick gameplay there, not pressing down at the right time. So when we're in speedrun mode, there's no point fighting anyone because it's a speedrun, dummy. I should have gone up to get that one, oh well. It'll be fine. Whoops! This is optimal. Oh my god. The pressure of performing. Ah! Right, it's fine, there's one up here, look. Now, from a speedrunning point of view, I have no idea what the optimal route is. I think this is a relatively fast route. If you don't die, dumbass. Let's try that again. There's a game over screen. I don't know how many people have seen that. Alright, let's try that again. Do it the right way this time. Going up here is better because look, you can get those potions on. Much better. If we don't miss that jump as well, that's even better. Oh, this is so much better. Get all those mistakes out of the way early. No, wrong way. Go up here first. Oops. I should use the freeze spell more. It's good. A good, useful spell. I was pleased with that bit there, where you have to fall down. Give myself a pat on the back when I did that bit. I thought that was fun. Which way do we go now? I think this is the right way. Oh, you dope. One jump. Ah, I screwed it up. Yeah, I kind of wish I'd made the enemies more dangerous. I feel like I made it too easy. I don't know, maybe not. That's a tough jump. That's probably the hardest one in the game. Where are the potions now? Oh, we've got everything out. A little bit low health. Let's get some health. It's really satisfying running through those ice blocks. I'm glad I put that in. Where do I need to go now? 3 left. I think I'm around here. There's 1. 2. There we go. I know where I'm going. I know how to play my game. There we go, 2 minutes 29. I found the urns being a countdown a little confusing. I think I did that so that it's clear that you need to get them left or something, I don't know. I suppose it kind of makes sense either way really, wouldn't it? You're breaking them, so you're not kind of collecting them. So yeah, only 4 soul jewels in there. Oh, I'm so glad I spent time on that fade in, or fade out. Couldn't put one on here because of this comes after the splash screen. Numbers in the games go up, yeah, it can be confusing. The title screen looks particularly nice because there's 2 layers of particle effects, which is nice. Right then, let's have a look at the cold? Well, tell you what, let's go back. Let's go back in time. Here are my notes from when I was looking through. I think I did this after or during your stream where you were picking game names. Let me turn the light on. These are the names that I had. I go into this in stupidly pointless detail in the blog entry, which is probably too long. No one's going to read it. So yeah, here's the abridged version. Troubled sign, some mystery, not very inspiring. Total nonsense party. I'm probably going to have a go at making that. I think it should be fairly easy. So yeah, what I did was rolled 10 names to start with and tried to think about what kind of a game or theme I could go with. So yeah, kind of thinking of basic game mechanics, theme, that kind of thing. Going into the jam, I fancied making a platform game because making Toy Box Jam was a lot of fun. Sorry, making Mumtaz Brothers for Toy Box Jam was a lot of fun. So I kind of wanted to do another platform game, but have jumping in this one, make it more conventional. I also kind of fancied doing a kind of top-down kind of thing. At some point, I am going to have to make a kind of Binding of Isaac kind of game, like it's sort of twin-stick shooter thing. But yeah, I wasn't thinking of doing that for this. Silent Deletion was an awesome name. The way I explain it in the article is I try and imagine the name appearing on a title screen with the intro, the Desert Strike intro music. Now let's see if this will get DMCA takedown. Let's see. I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. You probably get one of my awful YouTube adverts first. So this music's going through my head. Can you hear that? Oh yeah. Silent Deletion. Imagine that in a red font, like the Predator font, like scan lines. Hell yeah. So yeah, that's going through my head when I'm trying to come up with ideas for games. Obviously not with Total Nonsense Party, but you know, I was kind of looking for a what's the word I'm looking for? I was kind of wanting to do a kind of macho arcade intense game rather than a kind of whimsical. Total Nonsense Party will be very whimsical, so I was kind of thinking against that. Silent Deletion, then, that'd have been amazing. There are several reasons that I had for rejecting a stealth game, though. Shall I get into those now? Is it further down here? I'll go into it now. I think with a stealth game, you need a lot of... There needs to be a lot of systems in a stealth game for it to work, and people expect all of those systems to be present before they'll even consider your game a proper stealth game. So it's like I mean, I've not ever played Metal Gear or Metal Gear Solid, but you know, you've got cameras, guard like patrols, you've got pathfinding in there. Never done that. That'd be a total nightmare. Line of sight, like radius thing for sound, maybe gunshots and things. You know, like there's so many things you need to put in, and it's having all those different elements interacting that makes the game fun, and that just sounded like an absolute nightmare to me. I could imagine it going very wrong, and I'm glad that I didn't do that, because having played that Die Hard rip-off game, that's not fair. It's not a rip-off, but yeah, what's it called? Crazy Accountant, whatever it's called. Having played that, I'm glad I didn't try and do a stealth game, because I don't think I'd have been able to have done half of the stuff as well as that game did, and I didn't think that game really got there. Anyway, Prince Ruler, that was just a bit naff, really, wasn't it? Busted Bivouac, that could be a good game, a camping sim, but ultimately, Busted Bivouac isn't a very good name. It's going more towards the whimsical side of things. Honor of Conflict. I mean, yeah, a combat game where enemies need to be killed in an honourable way. Rules of honor explained at the start of each game. That sounds like a fun game, but it doesn't really match up. Busted Bivouac has to be a real C64 game. Yeah, could be. That combat game idea is good. It's cool, but I don't think it really lines up with Honor of Conflict, because a combat game, it's not really conflict, is it? Conflict is more like war. I mean, I just thought of another stupid idea. You could have like a game where it's like following the rules of war, getting someone to surrender. Stupid. Not ever going to do that. There you go. Frozen Throne. Could literally make anything for this. Freezing and or melting as a mechanic. I think, even though I said could literally make anything for this, I was from the start thinking platform game. So having an idea for what you want to make before you start making it is always a good thing. Quest above reward. Terrible name. Ironclad Slap. Again, stretching around these random names. You know, a comedic battleship game. If I was looking through a list of games and saw Ironclad Slap, I would not click on it to play it. Ultimate A, it's Firefighter. After that first 10, I thought I'd roll another 10, see if I got anything else. But there's real diminishing returns. Our third cheat, crap. Ship of House, crap. Assignment Reflecting Peel, crap. Portal Pandemonium, good name. However, Portal's game. You'd just be seen as ripping off Portal. You'd have all these insightful comments saying, oh, it's like Portal. Even if you were doing something clever and original in that, people would just think it's Portal, and I've not played Portal, so no. Honor of Reward, sounds like the other one. Honor of Conflict. Spectre Runoff. I don't know. Along the Bummer. Best Dune. Digging for treasure in the desert. I mean, look, what? Absolutely nothing from that. Along the Bummer. I know. It's great, that one, isn't it? Wise Ebb. I mean, Ultimate Bullet Horticulture does sound funny, but the name's too long. It wouldn't fit on the screen. The cart name would be too long. Also, there was that Toy Box Jam game, Bat Horticulture. We don't need to be crowding the horticulture themed Pico 8 games. You know, let's not crowd that area. Best Dune. You play as Denis Villeneuve, failing to make a box office hit, but he's going to make the best Dune. I'm so excited about that film. I'm so excited about it. I've got the David Lynch one on Blu-ray because I've got sick and tired of how crap the DVD is. Oh, it's amazing. Love that. I'm so excited about that film. Windy Blur. This is another 10 just to see what I'd get. I mean, if there was an absolute home run of a name in this, I'd have gone with it, maybe. Windy Blur, crap. Spider's Dilution, crap. Paradox's Voice, crap. Slapdash Emission, crap. Versus Final Month doesn't even work. Six Horn, crap. Spirit Flame Country. I mean, these are just like... to be fair, these are more like proper random Game Jam names, but I'm not interested in doing that. We both got real lucky then. Yeah, you've got to pick a good name. It's so important. It's literally the only part of the Game Jam that matters. Because after that, you're just making a game. So it's so important to pick a good name. I do like RNDGAME JAM. I think it's of the Game Jams I've taken part in, it's my favourite one. I think I enjoyed Ludum Dare a lot more last time. The first time was awful. Low Res Jam was okay. Have I done another one? I think that's it, isn't it? Beggar's Wrath, crap. Prisoner of Penguin sounds good, but yeah. Eastern Eye, crap. So those are all the names that I rejected. So, what did I do then? I didn't really pick Frozen Throne. I had Silent Deletion and Frozen Helm, and Total Nonsense Pie. Those are my three that I kind of took into day one after going to bed. So what I did was think about those things I thought before I started. Let's have a look then. Where are we? Doodles, is it? Yeah. What I like to do, or what I've started doing, I think I started this with... Did I do it? I started this for Ludum Dare and it worked really well. I feel like I've done it more times than that. I've kind of done it outside of game jams. I draw a... I just draw things. It's like planning, but it's fun. And it's also useful because I can then use the plans for sprites if I decide to pick that. So it doesn't feel like a total waste of time. Spirit Flame Country I could work with. It'd be a Wild West shooter about being an exorcist. That sounds fine. It's not that these game names are particular. I mean, that sounds okay, doesn't it? I suppose. But Spirit Flame Country. I mean, it's not as good as Silent Deletion, though, is it? You know. Right. I'll show you before. It's a bit of a sidetrack, but I want to show you what I did for Ludum Dare. And before Shirley Ann made the very sensible suggestion, why not just make a submarine game? I was thinking, you what? I thought Shirley Ann was giving herself a pat on the back there. Could your game be a PPV title? Do you mean like a wrestling pay-per-view? WWE Frozen Helm. WWE Total Nonsense Party. WWE Silent Deletion. WWE Along the Bummer. Works. Yeah, so these doodles. This is what I did for Ludum Dare before I picked submarine thing. I was thinking like a tomb exploring side scrolling adventure game kind of thing. So I drew all these little characters, look. So we've got like man and a woman. She's meant to be like Lara Croft. And I was thinking, oh, maybe these would be like different classes. So we've got like a kind of adventurer like Lara Croft and Indiana Jones. These like your archaeologists. They get little jackets and hats. Have some Muslim people in because it's set in Egypt. They're like workers maybe. And then these people are like rich Egyptians. I don't know. Snakes, mummies. What have we got here? That's like a rat, an urn. Oh, look, an urn. A lantern, net. The net was for catching the snakes. Pickaxe, shovel, sand. What's that? Don't know what that is. All that. Is that a fallen block? Anyway, so I drew all this out to kind of plan out and imagineer what the game would look like. So this actually is kind of like Abandoned Bog. So you'd have like I was thinking like using the 1D dungeon kind of look, and you'd kind of like a roguelike on one level at a time. I don't know. I didn't go anywhere with it because the submarine idea was just much easier. Yeah, the theme was deeper and deeper. Anyway, that's just an example of what my little sketch things look like. So I made one for... I did Total Nonsense Party first. I basically drew a load of characters, so this is fun. Like I say, I am probably going to extend this into a full game. This is just a sprite sheet. So there's our shifty engineer and our pilot from Dominion X. So this is like... I started planning this one first. I can't remember because I thought it was a better idea or just because I thought that would be fun to draw. But I thought we could have different characters from different games. So this is all like day one stuff, this. Or the first couple of hours, I think I was doing it. Waking up. Yeah, the monkey and the wizard from Banana Chase. The Mumtaz brothers. And then I just started drawing kind of party goers. So we've got kind of guy in a suit, Marty McFly. Can you tell who he is? Any ideas who he is? There's a delay on chat. This is just... That is the Fresh Prince. It indeed is the Fresh Prince. Got some black guy there. Scientist. An astronaut. Some white guy. A lot harder for the it was a lot harder coming up with female characters. There's just not many. That's meant to be Princess Sanna from Super Mumtaz Brothers, who was hitherto unseen. I think she's just a woman. So yeah, I had all these little characters. I mean, really, if I was being clever, I could have just made kind of like a set of bodies with outfits and a set of heads. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, that's the same one twice. I haven't changed that one yet. There's Lara Croft again. Princess Leia and just some other people. I really like that character. She's cool. And that's all I did for this. So I was thinking with this, you'd kind of have a kind of... Well, I'll show you what I thought I was thinking. I've kind of fleshed it out. This is what I was imagining in my head. That's not anything. Did I call it low res? I was thinking of making this for low res jam. Yeah, low res pie. So, this is what I was imagining. This is what I am currently imagining for Total Nonsense Pie. So you've got like a house with some rooms, and you can go into rooms, and then in each room there will be well, I can run it. Here we go. So imagine this isn't in stupid resolution. So you've got furniture in the room, and guests will be in the room, and there'd be like a selection of topics. This was fun. This is all done after the jam, but I had this all in my head during the jam. So we've got topics of conversation, which is all represented symbolically. So science, video games, film, football, sport in general or something, music, romance. That's supposed to be painting, like an easel. TV, travel or something. The earth, the environment, travel. Food, supposed to be knife and fork. Going out, cocktails, birthday parties or something. Marriage, unknown. You haven't like unlocked them. That one's supposed to be the internet. It looks like you're just talking about Wi-Fi. To be honest, if you go to someone's house party, that's probably one of the major topics of conversation. What's the Wi-Fi password? So I don't know. Maybe I'll leave that one in. Fashion, clothes, whatever. What's that? Computers. That's going on holiday. Oh, that one. It's supposed to be a Roman helmet viewed from the side. Babies. That's supposed to be health. Houses. And your goal is to hold a coherent conversation. It was kind of like, the idea would be like, let's keep going for this. Dogs, money, cats, gardening or flowers or something, education, it's meant to be like a mortarboard, books, literature, and news. Yeah, and the idea would be each character would have, so like the scientist, he would always have science as the thing he was interested in. Lara Croft, wherever she is, she'd probably have like, I don't know, travel and video games maybe. Mumtaz Brothers, what would they be interested in? I don't know. I'd sort of think I'd come up with some system anyway. But then there'd be like a mixture of things that people always have, and then there's unknown things, and you have to kind of work it out or something. And if you talk to them, you could talk to them about a topic and find out if they like it or not. And then you'd maybe move people around to get them near to someone that they liked. So like the longer they spend near people they share interests with, the more they like things. And you could maybe have like the same thing for food. So we've got like hot drinks, soft drinks, buns. That's meant to be a lobster. Soured, pizza, burgers, empty plate. Oh, we've got wine, beer, cocktails. Yeah. And you'd have like a fridge or something. I don't know. So this is what I was kind of imagining for Total Nonsense Party. And I didn't go forward with this. One, because I thought I'd kind of like to animate something. I have one of my things I wanted to do. I want to do something new in a game jam. The new thing I wanted to do in this one was I wanted some proper animation. I haven't really done much animation before. Dominion X didn't really have any. Banana Chase had some animation, but it wasn't very good. So I kind of wanted to focus on that, and I realised I'm not going to be able to animate all these characters in a good way. I mean, I could have the game could work without the characters being animated if they just kind of teleport, or you'd kind of place them or pick them up and drop them down. I don't know. But anyway, I wanted to do some animation, so that was one reason why not. Second, my explanation of how it might work is just as chaotic now as it was then. I didn't have an idea as to how I was going to do it. Now, in contrast, for Frozen Helm, I thought I'm going to make a platformer and I'm going to use that tutorial that I've already done. So let's have a look at that tutorial. So you were asking about how much I changed the... You're asking me how much I changed the engine, if you like. Where am I going to put it? Now it should be in tutorials, maybe. Let's try tutorials. Ah! Really command lines. Is it in here? No, it's not. What did I call it? Oh, I think it's just called platformer, isn't it? Or crapformer. Here we go. So this is the game. This is the engine as described in that tutorial series. I don't think I've made, apart from the graphics obviously, I don't think I've made any changes to this over the tutorial. So this is like exactly how it is. So you move slowly on the mushrooms. You move normal speed on the grass. So the only thing I put in was you can't run off the edge of the screen because their tutorial doesn't do that. And the camera follows you. I don't think the tutorial did that either. So yeah, this is like the unadulterated version of that tutorial. This is what I based Mumtaz Brothers on as well. Can't remember for Mumtaz Brothers. Did I? I might have gone through the tutorial series and typed it out by hand again for Mumtaz Brothers. Part of that was to kind of relearn it. And I was thinking of doing that for this game jam, but in the end I just decided not to because I thought, well, I'm probably going to keep most of it intact, and it'll probably come back to me as I'm working with it because I'd forgotten everything I did for Mumtaz Brothers. But I thought it'll probably come back to me, and it did. So I'm glad I didn't waste time on that. I kind of want to make this into a proper platformer. I really like the look of it, like these mushrooms are like taking over or something. But I can't make another platformer. Also, I made, look, those mushrooms there, I've got kind of, it's meant to be like a rib cage around it. I thought that was cool. That was creepy. The Pico 8 sprite editor and map editor is so much fun to work with. Just designing little levels like this, great fun. I mean, if I'd have had Pico 8 when I was like 10, I probably wouldn't have done any coding. I'd have just created levels like this. Awesome. So much fun doing this. Yeah, here, look, you can see this is the slippery. In the tutorial, I think it's ice. I just made mine steel. It was, I think that cat game had the slipperiness, the slippery platforms, and didn't. Well, Sliding Castle, that also had it. So Sliding Castle might have been based on that tutorial as well. It's a very popular tutorial. Yeah, here I'm kind of experimenting with how far you can jump. So yeah, this is the unadulterated version of code. So it's 829 tokens. The main reason that because I kind of thought maybe I should just make my own platform engine, but the collision code is very clever in this. You have like a collision box that moves around. Let's see, can I turn it on. I might have to turn it on in Frozen Helm. Basically, there's different collision boxes for when you're going in different directions, and I'm still not 100% sure on why that's a good idea, but it does work. So rather than coming up with my own collision code, I just use that basically. I mainly use it for the collision code, and also another good part of this is, what is it? Player states. The player has a number of different states that can kind of overlap. So we've got running, jumping, falling, sliding, landed, and I think there might be another one somewhere else in the code. Like I say, I used this for Mumtaz Brothers, so that meant I could take out for Mumtaz Brothers jumping. Well, no, jumping wasn't taken out. There is jumping in Mumtaz Brothers. It's just not very good. You do not jump very high. And I think boost controls how high you jump. So yeah, I mainly recycled this code for the collision detection and the player states system, so that I didn't have to think that back up myself, kind of come back to the same conclusion. I've already got it here, so I'll just use it. And it's fast as well. I mean, there's no kind of slowdown issues, so I imagine it'd be very easy to make. I mean, I've tried making my own platform engine before, and it's just kind of crap. So yeah, that's the tutorial. Now if I load trying to think which, there might be an older version of Frozen Helm. Oh, I've got Frozen Helm test there. Can we have a look at that? I think that might be. Oh yeah, Frozen Helm test. This is what I used to make the cover art. That's the thing I go on about in the blog update when I put it online. People really need to make more effort with their the presentation of the games. Like, any good Game Jam entry has decent box art, a decent looking itch page. You know, all these little bits of presentation, it all matters. It's, you know, it just adds to that. You're setting people's expectations, aren't you? Now, if you go onto I mean, I'm not saying that, you know, the Frozen Helm itch page is like a work of art, but like it just serves this basic bloody purpose of you know, setting people's expectations. Like, this looks like a game that someone has maybe put some effort into. This game might not suck, and if people go into your game thinking it might not suck, they're much more likely to realise, oh, actually it doesn't suck. It pays off on the jam rankings. Do you mean like having decent box art? Yeah, it totally does, doesn't it? Let's rank by popularity. Oh, it's already sorted back. Oh look, Abandoned Bog has climbed. I think that's the JK effect there, isn't it? But look, I mean, Warning Cheesy Cars is kind of crap, but all the rest of this top row, good box art. I mean, that tells me nothing. Well, I don't even know what that is. One Bit War, can't make that out. Spirit Gamble, that's good. Panic Maker, which shows there's a cat. So, you know, make some decent bloody presentation for your game. Oh, mine is slipping down here. Look, I'm getting beaten by Sliding Castle. Not that I'm bitter. I mean, to be fair, most of these are pretty good. I'm just thinking mainly of like Ludum Dare games where you just have like that ugly placeholder image. It's just grey. It's just like, oh. So yeah, that's what I did. That's what that is. That's just me making art. Right, you asked about the map design. So let's load the proper game. Okay, now one of the problems of using the extended palette a lot is it looks like total ass in the map editor. But there's a trick. If you run the palette commands, which are here, and then we stay in the editor, it keeps the colours for you. So that's a way of making things look a bit more sane. Right. This is the first area, whereas once I'd kind of copy-pasted the engine... Oh, actually, I'm skipping ahead. Let's go back to the doodle sheet for Frozen Helm. That'll actually show you what my initial sketchings were. Right, so this is what I drew out. So that's not anything. This is just me playing around with things. So this is what I did to start with. So I did the total nonsense party doodle. Then I did this one. I spent a lot more time on this one because I realized this is the thing to go for. So this was before I did any coding, because I knew I had that code ready to go, the platforming code. I'd just drop that in. But first, let's test things out. So, what am I playing around with here? If we look at the top, different helmet designs. So the one on the left is the one I actually ended up with using. And I think the character on the right with the small helmet, I think that's basically the final version as well. Like I say, the first attempt is like the third one in, above the N in Frozen Helm. That was meant to be like a kind of Trojan helmet, kind of like in 300. But it just didn't look as good. Yeah, so as you can see, I was playing around with animation very early on. I wanted to put animation in to make it look good. Animation's a really easy way of making a game seem better than it is. The number of Ludum Dare games that you play that have decent gameplay, are well presented, but have no animation, it's just a character sliding around on the screen, it just looks crap. So, trying to go above that. One of the nice things about another advantage actually of using the platformer tutorial was I knew how the movement worked. So the player could run. If you let go of run, the player would do a skidding animation. There was a jumping pose and a falling pose. And one of those was reused somewhere else. The entire game is 2 walk cycles. So I had running, jumping, falling, and you can see I'm kind of drawing out the character poses in that middle row there, and I was trying animation out underneath. And that eye flashing effect, I kind of wish I'd put that in. I don't think that's in the game. By the time the particle effect more than made up for the lack of that. You probably wouldn't even notice it. So yeah, that's another advantage of having that tutorial. It meant that I had a kind of structure for what I needed to draw, and that was just helpful. So here I'm setting out some gradients, some color gradients, color palettes to help. Let's put the proper palette effect on. Oops. There we go. So yeah, creating a kind of a palette to work with. That helped. That made it easier to draw things and make them look good. Because when you're changing the colours, this palette here becomes a little bit less useful. So yeah, that was it for that was the doodle stage for Frozen Helm. What I did then was get the code from that platformer tutorial, just dump that straight into the project, into this sprite project, delete all that code, dump in the tutorial code, and I basically had a kind of, once I'd changed over the sprite numbers and things, I basically had a working engine prototype thing. which is kind of like what my goal was, to have that as soon as possible. Because I mean, at that point, I could literally have filled out the level, put a beginning and an end zone, and have just tasked the player with going through the level. That'd be a game. So, I mean, obviously that, but yeah, having that day one, or basically end of day one, or day two, whatever you want to call it, really, really helps. Because then when you go into your project, you've got this working thing, and you're adding to that. You're not having to like reinvent the wheel. You're not having to like come up with a pathfinding algorithm. You're not having to learn how to do a pathfinding algorithm. When I was doing Dragon's Playground, I wanted to have the arrows that the elves fire. I wanted those to kind of move towards you. The arrows needed to aim at you. I didn't know how to do that. I knew I needed to use some maths, and I spent like an afternoon relearning GCSE trigonometry or whatever it was. Yeah. And looking for tutorials on sine, cosine, and all that, and learning that, and having to put that into code, and it wasted an entire afternoon that just to get the arrows for the elves in. So I wanted to minimize the amount of silly stuff like that I had to learn. Keep that to an absolute minimum. And I don't think I actually had to I'm proud of the fact I didn't have to learn anything for this game. I mean, yeah, I was trying not to give myself any major problems. I mean, I was learning, like practicing the animation thing, so I don't have to feel too bad about resting on my laurels. Right, that was the doodle stage. Load up game again. Learning J's. Learning is for nerds, yeah. Well, did you have something else you wanted me to talk about in terms of the engine? I feel like I'm waffling about the map a lot and the doodle stage. So you're down here. Look, I was making some more gradients. This thing here, this is basically, what sort of tuning did you do for 60 FPS? 60 FPS. What tuning did I do? Well, first I changed update to update 60. Then I pressed run and just to see what would happen, and it basically worked. What did I have to do? Gravity was one thing that took me a while to find. Basically, in fact, I can show you now. I can demonstrate. Load platform. This will kind of, as I say, I didn't have to change much of. Before I went to 60 frames per second, I didn't change much of the kind of handling of the character. I think I adjusted the speed and the jump a little bit, but it's basically the same as in this tutorial. Now, if I go into update now and just change it to update 60. You see, it still kind of works. It's a bit fast now, so I've slowed the character down somewhat. The jumps are a bit unforgiving, but didn't really need a right lot of tuning. Yeah, gravity was a thing that I played around with. I think in the tutorial there isn't I don't think there's a terminal velocity for falling, or it doesn't do kind of terminal velocity in a good way. I think there's just like a maximum speed, and you kind of, I don't think. The main problem that it took me a while to find it was adjusting the gravity. If I go in now and try, where's gravity? 0.35. If I just try some different numbers now. yeah, lowering the gravity seemed to help. That looks a lot better now, doesn't it? Kind of the problem is jumping is too high. So in that case, once I'd lowered gravity and slowed it down a bit, we reduce boost. Is it not boost? Oh no, I had this problem. One of the problems of using the tutorial code is the fact that in the init section here where we set up the player, it sets gravity, so it sets boost, which is like your jumping ability. It sets that to 4.5, but then in update somewhere, player, yeah, it's constantly changing those numbers depending on what's happening. So I spent quite a lot of time adjusting these numbers a lot. In the game, I was a lot of this code is actually still in because I was keeping the option open for putting ice into the game or making ice slippery. I don't think ice is slippery in the game, but the code was there in case I decided that's what I needed to do. I was originally going to have it so that if you frozen the floor, enemies would slip or something, but I didn't do that because enemy AI is hard. So that didn't go in. Yeah, I spent a lot of time adjusting these numbers. It was made more complicated by the fact that picking up the helm also changes these numbers. So I had to kind of, every time I'd test it, I'd have to change 2 sets of numbers, then test it with and without, and also test it in the levels. So, well, I'll just change some of these numbers first, just to show you what happens. So if I go on default, change that to 2.5. Yeah, you can see, you can adjust the jump height. See, that's more, wait, you can see though, look, when I'm on the mushrooms, jumping's back to normal, but you can see that's a more reasonable jump height. And that's literally the first adjustment. Yeah, it was a case of like, it's making fine adjustments here. Let's try 3. Yeah, that's probably better. That was the main thing. It was only a few numbers to change. It was mainly the jumping that was the issue. I mean, to be honest, I think the jumping is still a little bit fast. So that might be something that I change. It's not as bad. But yeah, that took a lot of adjustment. I like the run speed as well. I experimented with having the player moving at different speeds. I really like the movement. Oh, I'm glad you like the movement. I was not sure about it. It was that guy who did the Die Hard game. He was saying, "Oh, there should be coyote time in this," and my first reaction was, "Oh, he's just annoyed that I kind of criticised his game, and he's just being snotty about it." But then I'm thinking, "Oh, maybe coyote time would be good." But then again, I don't like the idea of coyote time. I mean, to be honest, I think that on its own might be okay. Have you seen that? Coyote time on its own as an inclusion might be okay. Have you seen the big Twitter thread by the Maddie Thorson Celeste developer showing off all the different things that the game does to help, like coyote time and that? There's so many, and like when they're all being explained in the thread, you think, oh, that's very sensible, and that's seems sensible, that kind of thing. I mean, there's one of them about, where is it? I can kind of demonstrate it. I think there's one which was like stopping that from happening. Oh, there's another one where it's like, what is it now? What you're trying to do, it's like if you're trying to fall down or jump up through, yeah, if I was trying to jump up, I can't show you very, if I was trying to jump up through there, you kind of make the player narrower or something. And a lot of it I didn't need to do in this because I just made the level better. So rather than changing all the code in loads of extra bits in to kind of help the player. I just made the level easier. It was funny really. I was expecting to have to spend a lot more time tuning the level, but I didn't. Once I'd kind of, like for example, most of the tunnels are 3 blocks high, like this part here. This one's 4 blocks high, but most of them are 2 or 3 blocks, sorry, 3 or 4 blocks high. They made a hard platform and then made it easier. I think a little bit of coyote time might help on this. Maybe. I think there's probably going to be more times though where I'm not sure if it will help. Like if I fall off and then jump after I've started falling off, you might have already lost the height required to jump up anyway. Oh look, the skeleton's doing something interesting up there. Yeah, that can happen from time to time. Not sure how that happened, I didn't notice. I mean, there's only one really hard... Can I change my position? The player dot y equals 40. I think that'll put me in the... Hey, there we go. There's only one really hard jump, and it's this one up here. Like, that is the hardest jump in the game, I think. Nothing else is really that difficult. I don't think. Can't think of any. I mean, I wanted to make it as well so that there's like kind of forgiving. I wanted to make a forgiving platformer. I know, radical idea, right? Here's a good example. Like here, you can kind of, if you're there, you can kind of jump, you can fall down like that. Let's get some more potions. So yeah, you can fall down like I just did then, or you could kind of jump, if you don't have the helmet, you could jump across those columns, and I think you can get up from here without the helm. Might be wrong. Yeah, so you can kind of do it like that if you want, or if you've got the helm, you can just jump kind of wherever you want. So I mean, this is the thing, there's so many extreme platformers now where, you know, even like early on in the game, you've got pixel perfect jumps. Well, not pixel perfect, but I mean later on, yeah, pixel perfect jumps. But you know, you've got these like demanding platforming sections throughout the game, and I'm not surprised you need to make accommodations for the player. You've made the level too bloody hard. It'd be like making a Doom level, you know, and having, I mean, you do get very hard Doom levels, but like, you know, it'd be like making a Doom level for a general audience and making it so that the only way to defeat the level is by manipulating monster infighting, which is a thing. But you know, episode 1, map 1, Hangar, doesn't feature a cyber demon in the center of the map constantly firing at you. You know, episode 1, map 2 doesn't feature a million goddamn archviles. You know, it's like, I know what you're saying, it's like they've made a hard platform, they've made it easier. It's like, but they've made it easy by doing loads of coding stuff rather than just making the levels a bit easier. You know, would it? I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see a lot of the appeal of those hard platformers. I can kind of forgive it in, like in Guacamelee has its challenging platforming sections, but they are off the beaten track. They are entirely optional as well. There isn't anything too difficult in the main course of the game. So you can do those challenging things as an extra if you want to, or you can just play the game. Like, you know, would people still enjoy Celeste if it didn't have the hard platforming sections in? probably say I haven't played Celeste yet, but I'd guess people would really like it for that. You know, doesn't need to be that hard. Most of my bloody, like I say, most of my designing of this game was trying to make it as easy as possible. Enjoying Celeste. Well, no, but like, people really like the character, don't they? I mean, like Tom App said this about Axiom Verge, saying the reason he made the bosses optional in this one, in Axiom Verge 2, was that people playing the first game got stuck on bosses and then gave up with the game. They just, you know, they wanted to experience the story and they wanted to explore the world. So he, in this new game, that was one of the reasons he says that he didn't put the bosses in. Now, here's an idea, right? Just make it so there's an adjustable difficulty in the game, or just make it so that, you know, you can just turn the difficulty right down or something. I don't know. But can't remember what my point's going to be. Yeah, these games are just sort of, it's like Super Meat. But the thing is with Super Meat Boy, each level is a self-contained level, and I'm not. To be fair, I think you do have to do them in order, but you don't have to get a good grade in order to progress to the next one. You might not even have to do them in order. I don't know, but you know what I mean. It's like short levels. It's not a long, you know, continuous experience. Oh, you see, I really like the bosses in Axiom Verge 1. I kind of, it's something I miss a lot from Axiom Verge 2. None of the bosses in Axiom Verge 2 seem hard, like even challenging. I mean, especially, I mean, that the end boss, you know, is it even a boss? It doesn't feel like a boss. I mean, yeah, I was dying when I was trying to do it, but you were respawning in the room and not losing any of your progress. Putting your speedrun mode in is good because it means you can elect to learn the control peculiarities if you want. Yeah, I don't know how many of the control peculiarities I know. Probably not a lot. I don't feel like I know the game very well. I have a better idea about the level layout. That seems important. Just knowing where things are. So I'm not making anywhere near optimum movement. Coyote time or not. Yeah, I might put coyote time in just to see if I can do it. It probably will make the game a bit better. But here's another thing. Coyote time gets into bad habits, jumping late. Surely part of the skill of a platformer is timing your jump. Well, no. The skill in a platformer is timing your jump correctly. Now, coyote time is just saying, actually, the time with which you need to time your jump is actually later than you think, or than you can see. Yeah, coyote time. I'm talking myself out of it. I know how I'd do it as well. I think if you just count, when it changes to a falling state, you would count frames, and you'd say in the first 10 frames, still allow a jump input. I imagine that's how you do it. Double coyote time. Now, I don't know if you're making that up or not. That could be a thing you're making up. I don't know. Right, I'm going to spend less time slagging off Celeste. You might be. It sounds like a thing, though. That does sound like a thing. Double coyote time. Maybe that'd be like double coyote time on double jumps, maybe? I don't know. Button inputs and frame timings were not something I thought about at all making this game. So there you go. That's enough of that. Right. More level stuff then. Here's something interesting. Here's an observation. The palette. I actually thought about the palette. Yeah, let's go through this. So I actually thought about the palette for this game more than I would normally. I think I did make a mistake with the palette though. The mistake is this bit here, this green. I don't think there's anything green in the game. There's no sprites that use the green colour at all, so I could have used that colour for something else. So Yeah, that was a mistake. Pyramid of Flame did this. Pyramid of Fire. All of the colours were all shades of yellow or blue, weren't they? Getting that classic, I don't know what you call that, blue-yellow thing. But it's a look, isn't it? There's a name for it, isn't there? Movie posters do it. It's a strong look. Yeah, the yellow and blue is a strong look. Yeah, I actually thought about the palette in this. So I wanted to have lots of shades of blue, seeing as it's going to be ice themed. And the interesting thing was that let me do better sprite work than normal. I was really pleased. Where is it? I find a good section that shows it. Well, these blocks here, I was really pleased with those blocks. I thought they looked really cool. The normal, those bricks there, the small bricks, those are the first terrain sprites that I did. That's just straight out of Toy Box Jam. It's very, very similar. Well, Pico 8 bricks always look like that. I don't like those as much. I think the bigger ones look much cooler. But I'd already kind of made them, and I didn't have enough colours to get a nice shade for the other one. Anyway, I mean, the two types did look good, so I kept that in. Yeah, having all those shades of blue to play with, yeah, let me do more detailed, interesting looking sprite stuff like this. I was quite pleased with that. I thought that looked cool, like a tattered banner. Tattered banner. So that was fun. Also, I kind of made progress using greys, blues and whatnot to make kind of steel kind of looks. And the rocks, they worked out well. So yeah, putting thought into the colours I used really paid off. Yes, shiny. This is what I was doing when I was working out how to do the it's a good job green, isn't it? Because I don't think that green colour fade would look very good. This is how I was working out how to do the fade out. So we've got each colour here, and then these are the steps of the fade out. So oddly, yellow actually persists longer than white does, which is probably a bit wrong. But you can see there how the colours kind of change. So basically, when the fade out's happening, there's tables. There's always tables, and there's just tables. There's tables for each colour, and then each step along the fade out, it does a palette swap. Is it sampling from that sprite or is it data? It's all data. I just did that so I could visualize it. And I should probably put more sprites in, shouldn't I? Although, to be fair, I want to add a normal skeleton enemy in. So maybe I should leave those bits empty, and maybe a skeleton walk animation could go there, perhaps. I could possibly do the skeleton with a palette swap. Although I do like the normal skeleton having that kind of arms by its side pose rather than the... See, the fire skeleton's a bit more on the ball with his hands on his hips. I don't know. There's Ghost Dad floating there, creeping everyone out. Oh, this is something I don't think I've done before. I made little UI sprites. So even though they aren't much smaller, that's the real urn. That's the UI urn. They're not much smaller, but it just makes the UI a little bit nicer, I think. That's that polish. I just noticed something as well. I thought I was doing the clever Axiom Verge thing where the pulsations are in tempo with the music. It's not. That's just lucky. Let's see, black border. Yeah, I don't often use black borders. Maybe I should make a game that does use black borders. Maybe that'd make things look different. So yeah, sprites then. So I had one part of the sprite sheet for character crap and the cube logo weirdly, and the other part for items, and there's a little bit of UI stuff there as well. Some of these weren't used. We've got some light coloured rocks here that I didn't use. I could maybe actually, well, probably wouldn't do it now, but maybe I should have made this area perhaps a lighter colour. Let's see if that looks good. I don't know, maybe. Oh, another thing I was thinking of was doing the old Tom Hall trick of using using sprites like that, so like the torch is lighting up things. I don't know. I didn't do that in the end though. Other things I liked about the sprites, or that I was happy with. I thought those columns looked really cool. Thought they looked nice. The crisscross thing here. One of my favourite levels on Sonic 1 is Spring Yard Zone. I love all the secret areas in Spring Yard Zone that have that kind of background. I think it looks really cool, so I use that. I was going to animate all of the torches. I was going to have them create fire particles, but the game ground to a halt, so I got rid of that. It looks fine. Yeah, I was really happy with those. That was a late addition. That I was wanting to add some background detail, so that's meant to be like writing or something, like maybe like a memorial or something. I don't know. I didn't use those blocks much either, but I think they look really cool. At the top there, those are nice. So yeah, I didn't use a lot of the sprite sheet for sprites, but I did want to use the full size of the map. Again, I was thinking about learning how to compress levels or level data into data basically off the map sheet. I've got an idea how to do it. It probably won't be very efficient, but I didn't need to do it because it worked better as a game having a relatively small area. The map's probably big enough as it is. For games like this, the Pico 8 map sprite, the map size is perfect. Again, another game I was wanting to rip off for this is my favourite. One of my favourite. Where is it? Where is it? There. One of my favourite Pico 8 games. Get out of this dungeon. Oh look, he's got a Viking helmet. Oh look, he's in a predominantly blue temple. You know? Oh look, it's the same bloody game. Yeah, this is the first Pico 8 game I played, and I think it's one of the best. This just uses the full map, and this game feels huge. Feels much bigger than Frozen Helm, probably because it's using 8x8 sprites rather than 8x16 sprites. But yeah, love this game. Was I tempted to do a parallax background? Absolutely. Yeah, another game I wanted to rip off was this. I love that background. Scavenger's got you too, huh? Yes, yes. This is such a good game, this. Yeah, I desperately want to do a game which has a background like this. I think that looks amazing. I love parallax backgrounds. Yeah, I did want to put it in. The trouble was, or one of the reasons why late on I decided, no, we'll save that for another game, is because there's that. Stop clicking on that. That's another reason I put speedrun mode in, so I could quickly get into the game for testing purposes. Yeah, if we go to that higher area again. Yeah, up here, look. I couldn't put the parallax background in, or if I did, I'd have to be careful because there's already stuff in the background there. Those banners, the torches, those brick things. That would all kind of get in the way, and it looked stupid as well. But I did want to put a parallax background in. Look, everyone loves parallax backgrounds, you know? There's another secret there. Can you see the bricks that are missing from that wall? Yeah, you can fall down there. None of the secrets really are really very important. That, I mean, maybe they'd be good for speed running. I haven't used that one in a speed run. The one over on the right hand side, that one there. Where is it? Where is it? Why did it not let me fall? Wherever, there it is. This one, that's useful for getting this. The other secrets aren't really that important. It's just in there for a bit of thickness, depth. What else have we got? The two, oh, that was fun. Doing the when I wanted to have a break from doing the actual game, the jumping and all that, I played around with this screen a lot. This screen got a lot of attention. So behind the characters there is some procedurally generated grass. And then we've got some lovely hills in the background, which are circles. We've got a lovely moon there, which is 2 circles. We've got lots of particle effects. I reused Cool Window. Cool Window makes its return from Toy Rogue in this game. That is Cool Window. And also, that is cool text as well. I have recycled all my window and text functions from Toy Rogue. I've decided one of the most fun things that I like doing is making character portraits. So drawing those was a lot of fun. I think one of the few things I'm actually proud about from my first Red Venom Load and Dare game. Shut up, why can't you load it? Red Venom LD47.pa. Why can't you load it? I spelt it wrong. Yeah, one of the few things. Oh look, it's more particle effects. It's as if I put these things. Yeah, one of the few things I'm actually proud about on this are the character portraits. I thought they looked pretty cool. There we go. That's it. Look at that, 3,000 tokens. Yeah. Fun drawing little character portraits. So yeah, I'm glad I put that in. Yeah, what I could do though, when I was getting fed up of doing coding for the game or something, I would go and add some more stuff onto title screen, like making that jazzy background for the title, Frozen Helm. Because for ages it just had text there, and I thought, no, I need to put something there. That's fun. So you could balance it out, you see. Yeah, you kind of know this as well, but all the story was like tacked on after the fact. It was all there's not a lot of story there, but what little there is just to fit around what I was already doing, basically. There's an argument to be made. This is best looking game of the jam that I didn't make. What other games are there's some good looking? Well, is it the best looking? It's not even the best looking Pico 8 game. Because I mean, for all of its shortcomings, Clarissa Littler and 2 others liked my tweets. Well, thanks, Clarissa. You could have joined us. Sorry, apologies, Clarissa, if you are watching now, but yeah. What was I going to say? Peculiarities. Yeah, for all its shortcomings, Pyramid of Flame does look really good. You know, Clarissa doesn't like it when somebody else is doing all the explaining. That's the problem. Right, let's have a look at some sound effects. Then we'll look at music. So, I experimented with using sound effects in other sound effects. There, those green ones. I still haven't got very good at doing that. That's the only one that does that. But the interesting thing with that is it lets us have 2 different noise it lets us have the two different noise effects in one sound effect. So we've got the kind of the noise one where it's sort of like the flamethrower sound from Axiom Verge, and they've also got the white noise one. So all the early sound effects. I'm not sure if I use that for anything. Fireballs might make that sound. That was going to be a charging sound effect for the skeletons. I did that on another game where, depending on what frame of animation they were in, it would play a note, a specific note from a sound effect, I think. I didn't do that though in the end, but it's there. I decided to put that in. No idea what that one is. I use it for something. Tell you what I did to learn some tricks for making sound effects. I looked through the sound effects in the Toy Box Jam cart. I didn't do that now, I've done it in the past. And picked up some tips. Can't remember what that one is either. Oh, that's the talking sound, isn't it? There you go. This is insightful, isn't it? I can't even remember what I did here. Let's let some cancel. Is there anything else clever with sound effects that I did? Yeah, that's Twilight of the Thunder God. Twilight of the Thunder God. I think that's such a cool riff. I don't think that's based on anything. The other week I made. Do you see it? I made a music cart thing. I was playing around with. I found a good guitar sound finally. So we've got Judas Priest, Slayer, Megadeth. Did you? Oh, it's I might not. I don't think I made a Twitter thing of it. It's in the forum, in the music section. Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll leave that playing then. Yeah, I was just procrastinating. I was working from home, so I ended up playing around on this for ages. Yeah, I found a good guitar tone. That's kind of passable as a guitar tone. It's more passable than what I used for Dominion X. Because Dominion X, I was trying to rip off Thunder Force soundtrack. Set yourself up as Gruber 2, the anti-Gruber. Alice in Chains. Yeah, and besides the Desert Strike soundtrack as a way of motivating me to get in the mood for making some games, there's also, of course, the Thunder Force 4 soundtrack. Oh! Yeah, you see, that's so hype. That is like Mojo Rawley levels of hype. But yeah, if I went back now to do Dominion X again. I mean, that's not a guitar at all. It's a guitar riff, but it's not a guitar tone, is it? Anyway, more on music. So I had that guitar tone that I've found, which, if you're interested, that's what it is there, 1255. I did this first. This is the game over music, so I don't know if you did manage to die in the game. I think it's just one key input to skip it. It's probably quite easy to miss that. I do love how cheerful that skeleton is. It's just like, yes. Yeah, well, I've been listening to that song quite a lot. It keeps popping into my head, so I did that first, and then I realised, oh, actually, the riff after that will probably work a lot better, seeing as it's more melodic. So that's something I'm going to be doing again, tapping into melodic death metal. Maybe not so much the death metal, but the melodic part. So I wouldn't have done that bit first. Right, that's Guardians of Asgard. It's the verse riff. So 57, that's the melody that I added afterwards to kind of hide the fact I was ripping them off so much. You kind of notice it's a kind of wandering melody. It doesn't really do anything. It's just to distract. And then that is like the pre-chorus. What I started doing, I did this for MP columns. Let me just find. Where is it? Where's that bloody file? I downloaded it. Oh no, different ages ago, weren't they? Frozen Helm. That's a bit worrying. Where's that file gone? Basically, I downloaded. I've been going on. Where it is? I've been going on sheetmusic.co.uk, whatever it's called, and just getting the sheet music for various songs. I didn't get them on a math that way, but I did get. Which one was it now? It was one I did for that metal selection. Just got the sheet music. It's so much easier to trying to translate guitar tab into Pico 8 is an absolute nightmare. Reading sheet music and just doing it that way is 10 times easier. Pay no attention to the amount of math over there. Yeah, your soundtrack has prestige. Thank you. I'm never actually that fussed about that particular part of the song, but it sounds really good in Pico 8. So yeah, we just introduced a rock beat there. You were asking about the way that the bass and drums were kind of layered. Now, if I go back onto my OneDrive and find an old version of the game, there will be a kind of 4-track version of the song, because I think, yeah, all the music at the moment tops out at 3, and you can still hear sometimes music cuts out. So really, 2 tracks to be safe, but 3 is fine. To be honest, I quite like the sound. I like it when Pico 8 drops part of the music track and it comes back in. I think that's fine. I mean, like MIDI music games would do that. Like if you paused Doom and then unpaused it, you know, it'd cancel notes out and things. I quite like that. Fine. I think Gruber's very strict about. I think he always keeps his songs to like 2 tracks. But I think going over is a bit fine. Anyway, so that's how the bass and the drums are working. It's just loaded. And I love the effect. Your brain kind of fills in the gaps, doesn't it? So really the bass is going it's all on the offbeat, isn't it? But then if you put it with the downbeat, when I hear that, I don't hear an offbeat. It just sounds like it's on the beat. So that's a cool little trick. I copied that from listening to Droid Bishop, who is a chiptune artist. Is it chiptune? It's not chiptune. Synthwave? Synthwave. He's a synthwave artist, and he does that bass a lot. Or he does his trick. What's that called? Bloody thing. Well, I know it's called Synthwave, but I don't know where I put it. Is it in... Where could it be? Doodles? It could be in. Work? I mean, I did it at work when I should have been working, but... What's Unbell? That must be something for people playtime. Oh, it's that one. Unbelievable Counterparty. There we go. Right, Big Dave. Big Davy Boy Smith. This is what somebody else's sprite sheet looks like. So yeah, he's obviously used the full map there. Oh no, has he not? Oh wow, that game doesn't use, I don't think. Huh. Well, I did not think that. I thought he would have been loading X levels, apparently not. There you go. Fun. In demos. Did the test. Crap former. Oh yeah, there it is. Right, I'll show you. Right. Synthwave. This is me ripping off Droid Bishop. This is his trick on the bass. I think there's quite a lot of what do you call it? Eurythmics in this. But you see, he often has that kind of kick drum and then 3 bass notes. Sounds quite cool. This sounds Gruber-esque, this, doesn't it? Should use that in something, shouldn't I? It's funny, I think a lot of people's Pico music often sounds like that. You know, very bleepy bloopy. I don't tend to do that very much. Right, this is a good example as to why I used somebody else's platform tutorial rather than rolling my own. Here's my own attempt at a platformer engine. Oh, it's rock solid, this. Yeah. Rock solid. Yeah. Just use the tutorial. Make life easy for yourself. Is there anything else in here that's interesting? Frozen Helm. We've already looked at that. Where's this shmup? Shmup. Keep thinking about making a proper version of Red Venom. It's only been over a year now. I keep thinking of doing this. So kind of like a sequel to Dominion X, but a side scroller rather than a top vertical scroller. So you'd have like an interceptor, which would be good for intercepting, for being fast. Got a bomber for blowing up ground targets. Once you've blown a hole at ground level, you'd blow open like a big gate or something. Then you'd return to the mothership. The idea would be that you'd switch between all of these different vehicles and ships, kind of like Thunderbirds in space. So you'd use this one, the interceptor, for like shooting down all the air defenses. Once you got rid of the flying air defenses, fly back up to the mothership, come back with your bomber, bomb the stuff on the ground, blow a hole in the kind of blast door, that's the word I'm looking for. Go in then with your ground attack craft, like a helicopter thing. And then I don't know if they'd have a tank in or whatever. Drop ship for like dropping things or picking stuff up in a little tank thing. Yeah. At some point, I do desperately want to make that. The way I'm envisaging, if you imagine like a Defender style game, it's just a Thunderbirds. If you imagine like a Defender style game where you're free to move left and right and up and down, but where each kind of level is either a different part of the base, or maybe you'd have like the upper atmosphere, you know, a cityscape, and then maybe like a kind of underground part, and then a base below that, and you'd be kind of using different ships at different times to make it more kind of tactical. I don't know. Seems like it'd be cool. That's my idea anyway. At some point, I'm going to get round to it, but I need to finish. I've got so many games on the go. Total Nonsense Party, I want to do something with. I kind of should add something to Frozen Helm, polish it up a bit. I should finish Submarine, Sububa and there's another one. I want to do a shooter soon. You mean like a shmup? Or more like a twin stick Binding of Isaac type thing? Both would be really fun. See, I'm thinking of making a Defender clone, but making it more interesting. Kind of like that game Storming the Grand Mothership, but I think there's a lot of ways you could improve on that game. And I don't want to have it, it's not going to be shipping space. You're going to be attacking a ground target. The idea being, it's like, I was talking about having that idea of having a shoot 'em up where it's like you're the bad guys, kind of, where you're attacking the alien planet. So after the events of Dominion X, where you've driven back the aliens from attacking Earth, you go to their home world and terrorize them with these awesome ships. That's my idea. You want to make the game that Storming looks like it would be. Yeah, I kind of liked Storming the Grand Mothership. It's a terrible bloody game. It's a terrible name for a game. And a thing that really annoys me in shoot 'em ups is shmups. Is the thing that annoys me with shoot 'em ups on Pico 8 is when projectiles are just circles, usually flashing red and blue circles. Why those colours? I just don't think it looks very good. Like, I mean, I'll probably end up using some of that myself, or at least varying it, like having like ring projectiles look really cool. There's lots of shoot 'em ups that have that, but I really dislike the you get it a lot in bullet hell for some reason as well. Let's see if I can search for it. So many Celeste things. Celeste note. Yeah, I really dislike those kind of particle effects. I'm pointing at the screen, you can't see. The particle effects on the kind of trail. I mean, to be fair, that might be sprites. Something about it feels off to me. It doesn't. Another thing is, it feels like the hitbox is smaller than the size of the projectile, which doesn't feel right. I'm so glad he put in that option to turn. That was the original background. It was. Oh my god, that was awful. Even that's pretty irritating. So yeah, I did enjoy that game, but I want to make my version. Oh no, he's using a sprite. So that's the sprite there for the projectile. But it's stuff like this, like what is that? A Japanese bullet hell trope. You mean the red and blue projectiles thing? It must be, yeah. I've seen plenty of games that do it, and I don't know why. It just looks like ass. There's not many good bullet. I think bullet hell games are kind of like precision platformers. I think they're a lot harder to get right than people think. Yeah, there's some. Yeah, I really dislike bullet hell. I think it's so played out. I mean, that's one reason I liked this, that it didn't go all in on the bullet hell. I mean, towards the end of the game, it gets there a little bit, but at the end of the game should get towards bullet hell. It's when you have bullet hell from like word go, I just don't see the point. There's no escalation to it, you know. Yeah, but when you look at like the sprite work on Let's see, Thunder Force 4. I'm just going to go back to Thunder Force 4 because it's just such a good example of the genre. I mean, obviously, it's different with this because the sprites are so much bigger, but you can just tell what everything is on the screen, you know. Even when you've got something like the robot there, which is kind of a bit abstract. I mean, obviously it's a massive sprite, but you can still tell what you're looking at. You know, it looks good. Yeah, that's much more my idea of like how I like projectiles, like actual sprites. I mean, like those ones there. I don't know if you can see them. Yeah, sorry. These ones here, you could do those with circle fills and circs and things. That'd be fine. But other stuff, you know, give them a sprite. It makes them look so much better. Even stuff like that, look. And yeah, is that not just one of the best shoot 'em up ships ever? And look, little bonus extra, you have the Thunder Force 3 ship in there as well. Look, they turn up on one of the levels to help you out. Oh, it's such a good game. Yeah, it's the masterpiece. Here's a fun thing to think about with Thunder Force 4. That is what a AAA game looked like in 1992 or 93, whenever it came out. You know, it just shows you like how things are different. Right, I've gone totally off track now, and I've finished talking about my game. 2 hours. There we go. I think there's anything else to really talk about. Anything I haven't mentioned? We're in the wrong folder there. In the blog update, I go into a lot more detail about the planning stage because I think that's the most important part. Coming up with or having my idea for like a platform and just having an idea made everything else so much easier. It was so straightforward coding it because I just knew what to put in. You know, I had a little bit of learning new things, like learning the animation kind of things, and also learning a bit about having another go at making some decent enemy AI. 'Cause that's an area that I'm not really very good at. So it wasn't all resting on my laurels. My laurels being particle effects. But yeah, keeping like the amount of innovation to like 10% or 15%, so that everything else could be plain sailing. Why has that got a? Why have they got flags? Just notice those sprites have got flags set, and I have no idea why. Oh, this is another thing that was interesting as well. Working with double height sprites. So basically, the player is two sprites always. There's never a part where at first I had it where it would draw a sprite, and you can set it with a parameter count, so it will do like two sprites, height or width. It never does that. It's always drawing two separate sprites. It just made it much easier because then you could just swap heads interchangeably, and you could swap body parts interchangeably. It just made it much easier. The skeletons work the same way. Would you do a non-jam platform and go big on the levels? If I do another platformer, I would want to learn how to do that, yeah. I think it'd be good to do a platformer which was more like a run and gun, or yeah, with bigger levels that you pass through quicker. Like where you'd pass through a level once rather than, you know, I don't know what you call it. What do you call it? Where it's like a free roaming platform game. Yeah, I kind of know how I kind of know how I would do it. Whether that would work, I assume it would work. I imagine the data might be huge, but then again, you know, you're talking for a full map. You're only talking like, what is it? 63 by 128, isn't it? Table with 128 tables with 63 bits of data in there. That doesn't sound ridiculous. Not compared to some of the ridiculous particle effects that I have. where you've got bubbles that persist across the entire game. I'm still having nightmares about the bubbles in Suburban. But they do look, it's like the best part of the game, and it's also the part of the game which breaks the most. Yeah, I need to make my baddies more interesting. Just getting collision, because that was a thing. I wasn't able to. Oh no, I was, sorry. No, that was another good reason for using the platform tutorial. I used the same collision function for the player as I did for the enemy. Yes. So when the enemies bump into the walls and turn around, that's using the same collision as the player. Now, if I'd have done my own function, it would probably have been shorter, but you would have probably ended up with 3 or 4 different collision things. So that was another advantage. I did have to make my own my own function for getting skeletons to know when they were about to fall off a platform, and that doesn't entirely work, as you could see when we had the game running for a while. So yeah, that was a good thing to do. Oh yeah, some other ideas. That was going to be a boss character or a tougher enemy with the fire helmet, kind of like your evil counterpart. I'm not sure if that pose is actually used. That pose is supposed to be for damage. I don't think that actually gets used. Probably. I don't know. Yeah, I would like to do another platform game. Oh, to be honest, I could probably do it if I made that made a side scrolling the side scrolling shoot 'em up game. I could learn how to do the levels thing. You know, messing about reloading the entire map. I could learn how to do that for that game. So yeah, I am gonna do that. Probably had enough of platformers for now. Maybe if I do another platformer, I'll actually make my own thing from scratch. I don't know. But yeah, I could do it for that. Yeah, I ended up, there's a lot of stuff, there's a lot of sprites that aren't actually used. Like, I don't think these are used. One of them's used, obviously. I think that one's the main one that we use. These two, I don't think they actually do anything. It's interesting with animation how quickly it fills up. So we have, there's breathing, there's running. What's that? Oh no, he's running 3. I think running might be 3. Something like that. There's skidding. See, look there, those two could have been combined. So that's one there with his arms outstretched. Timber, his arms open wide, isn't it? And then as he kind of casts the spell, his arms kind of wave out or wave in. Either way, that was used for that. That one is the falling animation. That one I may have thought about using that for being hit as well. Yeah, why did I do it like that? Oh, that was why, because that one's the odd one out. When you're casting the spell. Oh no, so actually, when you're casting a spell, there's 3 sprites. That's one sprite. There is the head sprite, and then there's also the arm sprite over the top of the head sprite. I had to do that. Actually, there's 4 sprites because there's the head sprite, and then there's the helmet on top of the head, and then if you're casting, there can also be the arms in front of the helmet on top of the head. So yeah, there you go. That was a new thing that I did. I've never done anything like that before with a complicated kind of character animation thing. So you've got a non-Frozen Helm there, look. Ooh, interesting. Yeah, still a bit of space in the sprite sheet. I would like to add in some skeleton ends. I don't know how they'd be different though. Maybe if they kind of, to be honest, I would be surprised if I end up doing like the night AI, where these new skeletons charge at you. That's my classic enemy behavior. So yeah, I think that's probably it, isn't it? That's all the things I can think about. Yeah, Angry Emu, yes. The classic. Any further questions before I draw things to a close? Well, whilst you're making your mind up, I'm going to play another game. So 2 minutes 30 was a good time, wasn't it? Let's see if we can do better than that. Let's try a different route. Right, well, I'll finish this run then. And then, I'm going that way. Finish this run. And then I'll stop things. You see a bit slow down there? Bit slow down. Naughty, naughty. So you see there, I was using the urns to get potions. Oops, don't stand there. What I think I might need to do is, for speedrun mode, remove the randomization of the urns. Maybe make it so that it'll give you a potion for whatever your lowest stat is, maybe. It won't give you a potion at the moment if your health is above like 75% or 80%. Same goes with magic. Hey, oh no. Well, this is a different route, isn't it? As long as I come back this way, I'll be alright. Ah, that was a mistake. Or is it? Have I done this right? I think I've done this okay. Apart from that, we're gonna do it. Yay! There we go. Look. 2 minutes 13. That route was quicker then, wasn't it? Although I did make a few mistakes as well. Right then. And it's playing us out as well. There you go. Thank you for watching the stream. That was my breakdown of Frozen Helm. I wonder if I could download this video and edit it down into something more coherent. There's going to be wrote the blog update already. That's talks. I didn't really talk much about the coding in that because I think writing about coding is probably really goddamn boring. So I'll go into more detail there about the planning, which I kind of talked about here, to be honest. Anyway, I'll put that up at some point. Right. So yeah, there we go. And just like this guy with his arms open wide, my arms are open wide in thanks for watching the stream. And also, it's kind of like his waving goodbye, isn't it? Because I am going to go to bed when this music finishes. There we go. Right. Thanks for watching. Time to go.